everybody, I've had lots of requests for this review. This is on the Maybelline Brow Drama Sculpting Brow Mascara. I have this in the shade Deep Brown, and I believe a lighter shade is available as well. So we're talking about a tinted brow gel type product that you can put on, and it's supposed to thicken up the look of your brows, and I think it can do that to an extent. But for those who have a really non-existent brow, or you need a really precise fill-in, this might be an issue for you. Also, those of you who like to keep your brows pretty thin, you might find the applicator wand on this a little bit too big for you to be able to control it and get the kind of brow application you want. I feel like my brows are fairly thick, but by the time I get out here to the tail, I do feel like the wand on this is just a little bit large to really be able to control the application and get it really targeted to the places where I want it. As you take a close look at this wand, I am pretty satisfied at the way it gets cleaned off as you pull it out of the tube. I don't feel like there's too much excess on here. And you'll notice the applicator forms kind of a ball at the end with some really long bristles. And then behind that you've got like a row of shorter bristles. Sort of reminds me of Maybelline's Lash Discovery Mascara in that area. What I do not understand is why they even bothered with any bristles right here behind that ball, because this ball doesn't really allow any of that to come in contact with your brow. Like, you've got to be laying it at a really unusual angle for these bristles to touch your brow and this to not go somewhere else. So that's one of those things where I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't really understand the design, but let's go on and show you the application just using that little ball tip of this product. I basically used it to brush through my brows. I can see the brows deepening up a little bit, thickening up slightly. Honestly, it seems like a fairly workable fill-in for about the first half of my brow, but then, like I said, I get toward the tail and I start wanting a little more control. Also, as I've mentioned countless times, I do have a little scar on the tail end of one of my brows, and that always requires a pretty pinpointed fill-in. And the big tip of this wand is just not precise enough to get me the kind of fill-in I want. It ends up getting too much product around the brow. But one thing I do feel tempted to do after I apply this is go through my brows with like a spoolie wand, because as you keep raking this through, you keep adding more product to your brows. So if you kind of just want a clean brush through of everything, you might want to have an old cleaned off mascara wand handy, or a bare spoolie to just be able to brush through and make sure you don't have maybe too much product in any one area. Now, the tint that this gives my brows, I feel like is completely fine. This deep brown seems to mesh totally back in with the tone of my brows. I find that this dries pretty quickly, but if I want to go in and add even more thickness to certain areas, I can layer a little bit more of this on top. I definitely feel like there's some hold going on there, and I haven't had any problems with them staying in place all day for me. The issue here is if you're kind of a control freak when it comes to filling in your eyebrows and you like really precise fill-in. If you know, for example, one brow is not as thick as the other brow and you really go to great lengths to make sure you've got them precisely evened out, this isn't really going to be able to do that kind of work for you. And I've complained about that even with the Gimme Brow from Benefit. You know, this has a teeny tiny applicator, and even that doesn't seem quite precise enough if you want those little hair-like strokes that only like an angled liner brush can give you. Gimme Brow and also this product from Hard Candy called Brows Now, these both contain little fibers, like actual teeny tiny hair-like looking bits that will add into your brows and really thicken them up. This one from Maybelline really doesn't have that. This is giving you hold, it's giving you tint to your brows. You get the look of a little bit of added thickness, but these really, I think, go there even more from the thickening standpoint. Just because of the way this brush is constructed, it's got kind of a strike against it for me. I mean, I actually wish it would have been more the reverse, like maybe a cone-shaped wand that could give you really precise application toward the tip, and then if you wanted to use thicker, longer bristles, you could kind of lay it down that way. This is good for giving my brows a little tint of color. It has good hold, like I said. If you've got naturally kind of thick brows, and the width of this pretty much matches up with the width of your brow, and all you want is just a subtle touch of fill-in, this might be a good product for you. My favorite method for filling in my brows continues to be the Too Faced Brow Envy Kit. It contains a setting wax and then some brow powders that you can use. Even these that I mentioned, the Hard Candy and the Benefit, are not quite precise enough for me in certain areas of my brows. So thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you later. Bye.